So Switch 2 hype is real, right? I mean, new Zelda, new everything, maybe online stuff that won't make me want to tear my hair out.
Sure.
But there's this little thing, this elephant in the room, and it's got a $700 price tag on it,
Yeah, for sure.
which has got to have you a little bit worried.
Oh, absolutely. The PS5 Pro launch,
Mhm.
I think, has everybody holding their breath a little bit. Like, how is this going to shake out?
Right.
That price point is a big deal for a lot of people. It's a psychological barrier.
It is. It's like suddenly your Friday night pizza budget is like, okay, I guess I'm just going to be playing the same games for another year.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
And I think we can't ignore the history here, right? The PS3, infamous $599 launch price.
Right.
Gamers have long memories. That one left a mark.
Absolutely. And I think the PS3 launch wasn't just about sticker shock. It was about a disconnect between price and what was being offered.
Right.
And so the fact that Sony's kind of going back to that it makes you wonder, is this the new normal?
Yeah, I mean, are we saying $700 is the new normal? Is this a slippery slope we're on now?
Yeah, I mean, there are a lot of things happening in the world right now, and inflation, components, the things that go into these consoles, they're not getting cheaper.
Yeah.
And I think there's always that pressure on companies like Sony to really push the envelope.
Right.
But those envelopes, they get expensive.
Right. And it's not just Sony, right? This is an industry-wide
Oh, absolutely.
thing we're seeing.
Yeah, if you look at things like subscription services, right, like those are becoming more and more important. But that also adds to the overall cost of gaming.
Right.
And then you got things like PC gaming, where maybe the entry point is a little bit lower, but then, it's sky's the limit.
For sure.
So it's a very interesting time, and Sony just dropped a pretty big stone, I think, into the gaming pond with this price.
Yeah.
And it's going to be very interesting to see what the ripple effects are.
So where does this leave Nintendo? I mean, they've always kind of, I don't know, danced to the beat of their own drummer a little bit.
Right, they have.
This article we were talking about had a great quote about this. Nintendo has its work cut out to deliver a meaningful upgrade while striking that essential balance between price and performance.
Right.
Which is like, can they?
Yeah.
Can they thread that needle? Can they make an affordable console when it feels like everybody else is just like money, money, money?
Yeah, I mean, that's the question, right?
Right.
And for Nintendo, they've kind of built this reputation, right? Like the fun for everyone company.
Right.
Affordable consoles, fun games, innovative, but they haven't always necessarily pushed the envelope on the raw power side of things.
They haven't, but they're also really good at making what they do have work really, really well.
Yeah.
The original Switch, we all know it was not a powerhouse,
For sure.
but those Joy-Cons, genius.
Yeah.
Suddenly everybody's at parties again, passing controllers like, oh, right, couch co-op, local multiplayer, that's fun.
And that's kind of the Nintendo difference, right?
Yeah.
It's not just the exclusives. They understand that they have a different audience. Families, people who are maybe a little more casual, like I grew up with Mario.
Yeah.
I'm going to keep buying Mario games.
Right.
They're not necessarily chasing after the same kind of, hardcore specs as a Sony or a Microsoft.
Right. And speaking of compromises, one of the things that I saw floating around out there was this rumor that they might stick with LCD for the Switch 2
Right.
to keep the costs down, which, I mean, would anybody care at this point? I don't know. Like, would you sacrifice OLED for a cheaper price tag?
Well, and that's the thing, right? Nintendo has to make these decisions.
Right.
OLED is beautiful. Everybody loves it. You get those really deep blacks. The colors pop.
Right.
But at the same time, is that a deal breaker for the core Nintendo audience? If it means a $400 Switch versus a $500 Switch, like, what are they actually going to go for?
That is a really good question, because I will be honest.
Yeah.
Part of me is like, I want the best tech, but I'm also the sucker who's like, oh, a special edition. Gotta get it.
Right.
So what do I know? But I think it all comes down to this idea of value.
For sure.
Like, if the Nintendo experience is so tied up, I think, for a lot of people in those games, those franchises, the hardware almost becomes secondary.
Almost, yeah.
And that brings us to, I think, their real secret weapon. This article said something else that I thought was interesting.
All right.
They said, and I'm paraphrasing a little, a new 3D Mario game is going to sell a lot better than slightly prettier trees in a game you've already played.
Right.
And it's true.
Yeah.
Like, come on.
That is the beauty of Nintendo, right? They've spent decades cultivating these franchises.
Right.
These characters that people love.
Yeah.
And it's nostalgia, sure.
Yeah.
But it's also, they consistently deliver really high-quality games.
And there's something to be said for that.
Absolutely.
Like, when I pick up a Nintendo game, especially a first-party title, I'm like, I know what I'm getting here.
You know it's going to be good.
I know it's going to be good. It's going to be polished. It's going to be charming. It's going to be fun. And honestly,
Yeah, for a certain amount of, like, joy.
it is. And you almost can forgive them for maybe not having the most powerful system because they're like, but we have Mario.
We have Mario.
And it's going to be great.
And you're going to pay for it, too,
Which brings us back to price.
Right.
Like, the fact that they can do that, the fact that they can charge a premium for their games because they know people will pay for it, does give them a lot of leverage in the console market.
Absolutely.
So let's bring this back around to you, the listener.
Okay.
You are excited about the Switch too.
Yes.
But you're also, understandably, a little nervous about the price of everything.
Right.
So what do you need to be thinking about going forward?
Well, I think, first of all, manage your expectations.
Okay.
It's probably not going to be $200.
Right.
That's not the world we live in anymore.
Yeah.
But Nintendo knows its audience, right?
Right.
They know what they offer. They understand that value proposition.
So you're saying there's a chance?
I think, yeah.
Okay.
I think they're going to try to keep it reasonable, but be prepared for some compromises. Right. Maybe it's the screen. Maybe it's something else.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I guess at the end of the day, you're not buying a Nintendo console to, like, run Cyberpunk on max graphics.
No, you're not doing that.
You're buying it to play the new Zelda.
You're buying it to play Nintendo games.
Exactly.
And I think if the rumors are true, and we're getting a new 3D Mario at launch, that's going to be enough for a lot of people.
It might be. That might be all it takes. Well, there you have it. The PS5 Pro might have given us a little bit of a heart attack with that price.
Yeah.
But it's not necessarily doom and gloom for the future of gaming.
No.
Nintendo's out there doing their own thing.
They've always.
They've got Mario on their side. What could go wrong?
Exactly. The power of Mario compels you to buy the new console.
Thanks for taking this deep dive with us, everybody. We'll catch you next time.